Well, officially when we started the project, because we were seeing it as a social gathering project, it was labeled the intergenerational fountain because we were explaining how it would be used by people of all ages. And when we took it to the city to be approved, that was the name we had on it. So the city simply said, okay, that's its official name, and they put it on everything. We didn't realize at the time we were officially naming the fountain. We might have tried for a slightly shorter name. But most people, when you try to describe to them what it is, if you use the phrase splash fountain, everybody kind of knows what that is. You know, like Disney has splash fountains all throughout the park. Busch Gardens has them. All the kids know what a splash fountain is. So that's kind of the casual name. But the official name is Intergenerational Fountain, just so you know. It is a very, very fancy machine. Every time the water recycles from the font back down to the drains, back through to the pumps, etc., it is checked for its chemical level, its cleanliness, everything. I mean, that water is checked numerous times a day. The fountain is completely closed down once a month to be triple checked by the city, because of course we don't want to have anything go wrong when our children are out there playing in it every day. So we basically paid top dollar for all of that equipment to make sure we were covered to the max. They also have the fancy computer in there that controls the lights, which can rotate around, or the colors can be changed, and you know, it's a very elaborate piece of equipment as well.
All right.
I would like to mention that on the outside of the pump house, we have a lovely piece of artwork. This was placed there by Venice Area Beautification, Inc. They brought in an artist and quite frankly asked for a special piece of artwork there for the children to enjoy. And what they did was they had Catherine Beausoleil, a well-known local artist, design a tile mural, which is known as Mer Kids. And basically it's boy and girl mer kids playing under the sea with seahorses and amongst the coral reefs and swimming around and having a wonderful time. And it's the sort of piece that a grandmother can sit there with a little kid and describe what's going on and pick out the colors and name some of the underwater critters, and it's just a delightful addition to the fountain.
All right. And speaking of additions to fountains, we've talked a lot about the fountain itself. Can you describe, because there was a lot of design even put into the area surrounding the fountain.
There is the brick pavers with people's names who contributed to the fountain are placed around the exterior rim of the fountain. But then about half of the fountain, outside of that, we have built in a long curved bench into the berm. This is a very favorite seating area for people who are watching their children, you know, talking to their neighbor, but still watching the kids and keeping a close eye on them. On the other side of the fountain, where the, I'll call it the square dance floor was supposed to have been, we actually have picnic tables and we have benches, and we set up everything in a very nice design. But what I've noticed is I go by about every week or so, and the parents and other people who've been using the area redesign the street furniture out there all the time, so we never know quite what configuration we're going to have. Now on the side of the pump house, we do have a water fountain handy, so the kids can always get a cold drink of water. And we also have an outdoor shower. You know how you go to the beach and then afterwards you can shower the sand off before you go home? Mm-hmm. We have a shower there as well for the same purpose.
And that's because the water is chlorinated?
Yes, the water is chlorinated and treated, so it's nice to be able to wash that off before you go home. I mean, we took a great deal. We've got some that actually fonts that shoot. You know, the water leaps this way, and then the one across the way leaps that way, and then that one leaps that way. You know, and the computers coordinate all of that. And we had a lot of fun designing how much shooting water we wanted to have and how much we wanted to have just going straight up and then straight down and then die off and then come back up again. That was the fun part of designing. Okay, well, of course, the City of Venice, Gulf Coast Community Foundation, a number of individuals throughout the community were very helpful, just, you know, their own local donations. The sale from the kids' t-shirts. And then we had some in-kind services on the fountain, because that was very helpful. some of the local plumbing companies and some of the local brick paver people and etc. gave in kind in return for some sponsor recognition. And that was very generous on behalf of the community. But the biggest supporter of all was the Gulf Coast Community Foundation of Venice. And I believe they actually used a picture of the fountain one year on the front page of their community report. They were so pleased with the project. Of course, the city of Venice has used it on the front cover of their budget report. So.
Yeah, it's definitely visually has been a very nice addition to the town. All right, and moving forward, like, what do you see as the future for the children's fountain? Do you see it becoming like anything more than what it is at the moment?
Well, I think right now it's absolutely wonderful just as it is. I have not thought of any improvements to the area. We've talked about putting curved bench around more of it, but actually we kind of like to have some of it just open out on the grass. Makes it easier access for the children. But I am sure that somewhere along the line, someone will come up with a newer, cleverer idea, which we'll probably have to consider. Because after all, that's part of Main Street's job, is making the downtown as wonderful for the community as we possibly can.